Today I want to talk with you about a conspiracy theory, because in my eyes one has to search every side in order to find the right thing, or to at least get to a cohesion meaning for oneself. That's why I'm here sitting and trying to talk with you about a conspiracy theory, because you can still challenge this idea, you can still question it when you think it's wrong. I want to talk with you about the apparent prediction of 3 world wars by one of the best known and biggest Masonic leaders from 19th century, Pike. In a letter that Pike, if you don't know him, Masonic leader, founder of the Scottish Rite, 33rd degree Masonic member, as sent to Guiseppe Mazzini, an Italian Masonic leader. And in this letter, Pike has apparently predicted 3 world wars that were started by the Illuminati. I'm going to read the passages where these apparent predictions have been made, and then I'm going to challenge this idea and question. So therefore, the First World War must be brought about in order to permit the Illuminati to overthrow the power of the Tsars in Russia and of making that country a fortress of atheistic communism. The divergences caused by the Agentur, the agents of Illuminati, between the British and Germanic empires will be used to foment this war. At the end of the war, communism will be built and used in order to destroy the other governments and in order to weaken their religions. The Second World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences between the fascists and the political Zionists. This war must be brought about so that Nazism is destroyed and that the political Zionism be strong enough to institute a sovereign state of Israel in Palestine. During the Second World War, international communism must become strong enough in order to balance Christendom, which would be then restrained and held in check until the time when it would need it for the final social cataclysm. The Third World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences caused by the Agentur of the Illuminati between the political Zionists and the leaders of the Islamic world. The war must be conducted in such a way that Islam, now here in brackets the Muslim Arabic world, and political Zionism, also in brackets the state of Israel, mutually destroy each other. Meanwhile, the other nations, once more divided on that issue, will be constrained to fight to the point of complete physical, moral, spiritual and economical exhaustion. We shall unleash the nihilists and atheists, and we shall provoke a formidable social cataclysm which, in all its horror, will show clearly to the nations the fact of absolute atheism, origin of savagery and one of the most bloody turmoil. Then everywhere the citizens, obliged to defend themselves against the world minority of revolutionaries, will exterminate those destroyers of civilization, and the multitude, disillusioned with Christianity, whose deistic spirits will from that moment be without compassion or direction, anxious for an ideal, but without knowing where to render its adoration, will receive the true light through the universal manifestation of the pure doctrine of Lucifer, brought finally out in the public view. This manifestation will result from the general reactionary movement which will follow the destruction of Christianity and atheism, both conquered and exterminated at the same time. So now that you listen to these things, there's one aspect that instantly comes to mind. Those two first predictions are pretty accurate, if we are able to talk about predictions here, because it isn't even clear that this letter exists. The letter was first mentioned in 1958, as I was able to find out in a book, and there were many rumors surrounding this letter after this book has been published, and then it starts to adapt in the 50s and 60s. Then later, as the internet rose with certain forums, this letter was even more spread to the people. Because there is this theory that this letter exists in the British National Library, but they deny this claim, and therefore it's questionable if this is even the truth. what can be said is that the general storyline of historical events somewhat is true. That the Illuminati have this point of view on things, or the Freemasons, is also somewhat true. If you were to investigate their actions, it's somewhat also true. But what I really think questionable is that, first of all, no one really knows if this letter did even exist and how they were able to do all of things perfectly as predicted. And I mean, the third claim seems also quite logical. And this is where I have to somewhat back down in this conspiracy, as the third claim somewhat makes sense to myself and is reoccurring once again as Israel has attacked Iran and the whole fight in Gaza. So it makes it really logical. And now there is this point where I'm not sure what to say about this whole thing. I'm questioning the existence of this letter. I'm questioning how this should all have happened. And at the same time, I'm asking myself how it can be so correct. Or how can it be so predictive, apparently. So I'm really letting this question up to you, as I don't have an answer to myself yet. And I would want to know, what do you think about this all? Is it just a conspiracy? Has it points and elements of truth? Is it totally wrong? Let me know it in the comments.